here's a rocking chair for one of you, another bigger chair for two more to curl up in, and if you'd like to rock, here's a rocking chair. Now look up, look way up, and here's the Fairly Oddcast.
Welcome to Fairly Oddcast. I'm Adam Watts.
And I'm Mark, totally distracted LaValle.
Yeah, maybe playing with your phone as I say, "Are you ready?" And you go, "Yep," and you just swipe to another page.
Not my fault. I was getting my lists and notes up for the night.
Oh, you're so technology. Like, you've been without a cell phone even. Not a smartphone, a cell phone for how long?
Years. I've always had one, but I never activated it because it was pay-as-you-go bullshit.
And now that you have one, you're like a kid in a candy store.
I am.
A fat kid on a Smartie.
Yep.
Oprah on a baked ham.
And I'm a total geek, too, because I went with Windows Phone.
Yeah. If you can't tell from the sound of my voice already, I am sick as a fucking dog.
Tune in next week when I punch him in the face for making me sick.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think I told you yet. Your fart was audible last week.
You did tell me.
I didn't listen to it, but somebody told me it was.
I was going to bring that up and say tonight on tonight's episode, Mark will try not to fart during the broadcast. But I can't promise anything. I've been farting all day.
I got to change my dog's name.
Do
you think he'll care?
He might. I was trying to think of what you could possibly, like, where you could be going with that, but I don't got nothing.
Well, I kind of named him after what he was. He had black fur. He'd always be my passenger, my dark passenger, Dexter.
Yeah.
Well, all the dark fur's gone, and he's a very light brown.
That's true.
So he's not really my dark passenger anymore. So I figure, since he was named after what I thought he would be, I'd give him a new name, just like they did in the old days. Your last name was Baker if you baked. Smith if you were Smith, whatever.
Yeah.
So now he's Frozen Shit Eater.
Nice.
Sick as a dog this week, and I have to go outside and follow him to make sure I clean up the poop. Because the next time he goes outside,
he'll eat
it. He won't touch it if it's not frozen. Once it's frozen, it's chow down time. It's fucking disgusting.
It's because he likes the crunch.
And you know what's the worst? It's easy to find in the winter in the snow.
I'm sure it is.
But you know what the problem is? Poop is warm, so it partially melts into the snow.
I know.
So it's frozen, and you have to dig down and fucking get it. Oh, it's sick.
Yeah, don't forget.
You can't just scoop it. You got to dig. It's like, fuck.
I had a dog, and it was disgusting. The worst is, of course, the ones that you leave a few, like 5, whatever, and then it snows again, so that's buried.
Yeah.
And then you're diligent again, and you pick it up on a regular basis, and then you skip another few, and it snows again, and they're buried. And then in the spring, your lawn is just covered in these gray piles of furry. Like, who knew that dog shit could mold in the winter?
Why doesn't it turn white like when we were kids?
I don't know. Why doesn't the pressure of the snow and then the melting make it go away?
Like, I did a good cleanup of the yard before it snowed.
That's a good plan, yep.
Then it snowed.
Yes.
And now it's easy to find.
Absolutely.
But he still keeps finding poop. So he's literally digging through the snow to find the stuff that I couldn't find and eating it.
Man, you should take him out to find some truffles.
Like, it's crazy. Like, I bring him inside. He wants to give me a kiss. It's like, fuck no.
No.
No way, shit breath.
I mean, never mind the fact that, okay, in this particular case, your dog is eating his own frozen shit. That's one thing, but I don't like dog kisses just because most of them lick their own ass.
He doesn't lick his own ass. He licks his own nuts a lot.
Yeah, well, it's close enough to the ass that there's probably some residue.
Not for that much longer, though. I'm getting rid of those things.
Yeah, that'll calm him down a bit, hopefully.
Yeah.
Usually does.
I'm going to keep them, too. I'm going to get them bronzed.
Nice. If they'll give them to you. They probably won't. They'll be like, oh, that's unsanitary.
I'm going to say, listen, he's been a terror trying to dominate me. When he's laying there, I just want to bring him out and say, hey, look at these, fucker. Unless I can find somebody to stud him with, where I don't have to take care of the puppies. They just pay me to stud my dog, because he is relatively cute.
Yeah, it's true.
He's a good-looking dog.
He is.
The legs are a little long. He's 8 months old, and he's still not used to those giant-ass legs of his.
Yeah, we got to get those nails clipped.
They're not as bad. It's just the...
That's part of the problem, though, your laminate floor and nails.
So much work. Should have just had another kid.
Yep. Or a cat.
Oh, fuck cats.
Yeah,
I don't care how easy cats are. Just, ugh.
Yeah. Until you're old, you don't need a cat.
Well, there's 5 minutes of dog shit talk.
Yay, off to a good start.
We've lost 90% of our viewers already, which isn't good because we only have like 10.
Yep.
So the only person still listening is Ronnie, because she'll listen through anything.
Excellent. God love you, Ronnie. You're fantastic.
You want to go first with your top 5? Because my top 5 isn't really a top 5; it's just a list of complaints.
Yeah, we can do that. I threw together a couple of lists actually.
Cool. I'll just hone in on yours and add comments in.
Because and most of them I'm not even going to comment on that much. And the first list is I'm not an illiterate idiot. I do and can read.
Yeah, we haven't focused on the fact that we're both big readers.
Yeah, exactly.
All we ever talk about is movies, comics, and TV.
Now, I threw this together really quickly because if I sat down, I could have thought of probably a lot of other books that I forgot. But I threw 5 books that I really enjoy reading, and I've probably read them each way more than once, which I know a lot of people don't understand, but there's lots of books over the years that I've read.
Yeah, I've never understood people who read a book, and if they enjoy it, they never read it again.
Yeah.
Like, my copy of The Godfather is not worn from time, it's worn from use.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's an original, like, 1970s version of the book, too, right? Hardcover. And that thing has been read to death by me.
Yeah, I've got a couple, like, really old hardcover Stephen King books that I have read out of their covers. The glue is just brittle and falling apart, and it's terrible. But
I guess it's the same people who can't watch a movie again.
And I don't understand that either. I mean, again, now we've said this in another podcast. For like a year straight, I watched Heat every Sunday.
Yep.
Which, that's a little excessive, probably. But I don't care. It is and was one of my favorite movies.
It'd be like finding a porn clip you like and not going back to it ever again.
Exactly.
If it's going to make me come that quick. Like masturbation.
Bookmark that shit.
Exactly. Masturbation isn't about... It's not that's a sprint, not a marathon.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want that to last.
You don't need
time.
variety. You just need quality.
Yeah. Turn the sound off, ass.
From Rachel Lovelady. Read or ignore.
Read it. Oh, she didn't hear me, so I'll just turn down the volume. All right, so starting with the list. We've got...
You're becoming detrimental to this podcast.
No.
I always thought I was going to be the detrimental one, but...
So, starting with the list, we've got Stephen King, and there's a couple of things by him on this list in one form or the other. I mean, I'm not going into classics or anything here. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not going to bring up Tale of Two Cities or any of that bullshit. I mean, I've read some of those, but I want...
You're just talking about books you read over and over again.
Yeah, I want enjoyable books. So The Stand, and I'm talking the full-blown, well over 1,000-page uncut version. Because it's great. And,
it is. I even enjoyed the TV miniseries.
So did I. Out of all the ones they put of his on TV, it was one of the best.
With Tommy Knockers being the worst.
I debate, or I like to pair that side by side with It, and only because the cast was so Mickey Mouse in It.
But it was a star-studded cast at the time.
Of Mickey Mouse douchebag actors.
I watched it just before Halloween again. I found an advance copy.
Really?
Well, no, I just downloaded it.
You're right.
Advance copy is my way of saying downloading without getting
sued. I see.
Now that I've given that away, come get me.
You'll have to come up with another one.
I will have to come up with another one. I'll just call them cookies.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, Stand, great book. If you haven't read it and you have read other King books, what the hell's wrong with you?
It's a much more dangerous book to read now than it was when it first came out, because we've been through swine flu and SARS.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. I mean, aside from some of the supernatural crap, there's a lot of real possibility in that book.
That it's God and devil. It's not technically supernatural.
Well, it depends on your point of view,
Yeah,
doesn't
I guess it does.
The second entry into the list by Stephen King is, and I actually wrote on my notes here, the Dark Tower trilogy, forgetting that it's 7 books long. But I know a lot of King fans don't like it because it's not his typical stuff. But again, I encourage people to read it because there were a couple of the books that were like, they've got their moments, but as a whole, it was a great story. And they keep talking about a mini-series for it as well.
They're not talking, they're doing.
Yeah, but it keeps running into problems, I think.
Like for TV, aren't they going
Yeah.
like a series almost? Not
Yeah.
like not a mini-series, but like a TV series.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like any of those shows that they know it's only going to last 3 or 4 seasons.
No, they'll
Right,
probably,
like, I
they
mean,
can just keep going on with the story, though. Like,
Well,
think of Dexter.
Not if you've read the last book, they can't.
Well, they can change it. Just think of Dexter. The first season of Dexter follows the path, kind of the first Dexter novel. Was it Darkly Dreaming Dexter or something like that?
Something like that. I haven't read them. I need to borrow them.
So, I mean, it's the same idea, ice truck killer, blah, 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 blah. With, some differences, like Angel isn't a detective. He's just some forensic guy.
Yeah.
LaGuardia dies at the end of the book.
So if Angel was another forensics guy, was the Asian guy even in the book?
Yes.
Was he another forensics guy?
Yes.
All
There's
right.
the three. They're the 2 forensic guys, and Dexter's the blood guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I suppose. Okay. Right. Because he wasn't true
So, I
full
mean,
blood.
it follows along the ice truck killer path.
Yeah.
But it does it much quicker because you don't have 12 episodes to fill. Like, there's a lot more killing in the TV show than there is in the book.
Well, there has to be.
Because it's a book, so he doesn't have to find a new bad person every week to kill.
Yeah.
After the first book, it goes off in 100% a different direction than the TV show.
Yeah.
There's nothing similar.
Fair enough.
Which is awesome, because I'll enjoy the TV show, except for the last couple of seasons, which have been shit. I still say that show should have ended after the 4th season.
What are they on, 8 now?
They just finished 7.
They're talking about 9.
Nope, they've already said 8's the last one.
No, I read
Oh,
an
they
article
changed
recently.
fuckers.
Yeah.
Well, they can't end it any better than season 4 ended anyways.
Yeah, well.
So, I mean, it doesn't matter what they do now.
To the Dark Tower, though, I would rather them not fuck with it too much. That's one that I think needs to stay as it is, but who knows? I guess if they were going to drop one thing, there's one book that is pretty much the entire book is a flashback of when the main character, Roland the Gunslinger, was younger. And I could see them not making that a season as opposed to an episode or 2 of a season.
Or make it the first season.
No, can't.
Oh.
It's like the 4th book, so
Oh, it would spoil too much.
it would be weird, yeah. So that's on there. And then next, and I've done this a lot, rather than just pick singular books, I kind of went with series of books. And people are probably going to think, what an idiot, those books can't be any good. 2 books from the Halo series. One's called The Fall of Reach, which is really nothing like the Halo Reach video game, so don't get that confused. It's actually the prequel to the first video game, so it starts off when the Chief was a kid and how he gets...
That's in that original first 3 books, right?
Yeah.
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 Is there more than those?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There's a bunch.
I've only ever read those first 3 ones that came out just before Halo 2 did, or just after Halo 2?
Well, I think the first Halo book, which was based on the Halo video game, which is almost exactly like word for word how you play the first video game, which is why it's a little awkward to read, because you play the game and you know exactly what's happening in the book, but you're also getting his inner thoughts, which of course you don't get in the game. So it was weird to read. But Fall of Reach is when he was a kid and he gets indoctrinated into the military, turned into a Spartan, yada yada yada. So, and then so that was a prequel to the video game, and then there was of course the book based on the game, and then there was one more after that. But they branched off to a whole bunch of other things, like there was a book called Contact Harvest, which was the first time the Covenant were ever met. by humans. And anyway, the other one I chose besides Fall of Reach was Ghosts of Onyx, which is kind of like probably during or after Halo 3. They're training a new group of Spartans that aren't as tough because they're cheaper to make, is really what it boils down to.
That questioned look on your face is great for audio.
Yeah, I know. So it was really good too. So those are both great. Next, Hitchhikers. All 6. I am going to throw the 6th one in there.
I can't get past like the first chapter. I've been trying.
I like it because I like how it picks up from the where they're all supposed to die in the end of the last one. But I mean, it's, I guess in a way, where I said earlier I didn't want to bring up like classics like Dickens and bullshit like that, but in a way Hitchhikers is a classic in its own right, really, when you're talking about sci-fi-ish / humor.
It's written, what, the 80s?
Yeah, well, the first
Late
one may have been
70s?
early, yeah, like really early 80s for the first book.
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I know a car from the 80s is a classic technically, but...
Technically, yeah, but when I say classic, I don't mean like it's designated a classic. It just is.
Will just go on forever.
Yeah, because like most nerds know of it or have read it.
Or at least know what the number 42 means.
Exactly. Or, something along those lines. They know what the restaurant at the end of the universe is, or the Heart of Gold, etc., etc. So, great series. I'm actually reading them again right now. I'm in the second book. And finally, when I was in junior high, I think, I'm going to say grade 7, I think. I was at that was like junior high for me anyway, was the first time that you had different classrooms to go to. Like grade 4, 5, and 6 for me were at elementary, and I had my classroom, except for French. French, we had to go somewhere else. But the rest of it, until maybe even grade 6, they kind of put you in a couple different rooms. But in junior high, every class was in a different room, different teacher.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like
our junior high wasn't.
We had our social studies teacher in one room. We had our French in another. We had science in another. Math in another.
We had a couple of different teachers in junior high.
Yeah.
But a lot of the teachers did multiple subjects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean, we were a smaller. I mean, I was in Fall River. You were
exactly.
in Bedford, right?
Exactly.
So I mean, and they usually schedule it so, like, in the morning you were probably with one teacher for 2 subjects.
Okay.
And then you'd switch for like after recess and do another 2. And then...
Now, see, that's the thing. I mean, in Bedford Junior High, there were a lot of students, but it wasn't a huge school, so it wasn't hard to go to different classrooms. It was only 2 floors. I mean, it technically had a third, like a basement, but in the basement was the male changing room and the boiler room. That's it. So
I'm interested to see where this is going.
Anyway, I sat in a desk and I stole a book.
Oh.
Basically is where it's going. I think it was science class. And, it was the era of no more wooden desks or any of that bullshit. You had a table with a slot that you could throw all your shit in, and a separate chair. And I don't know, swiped many things over the years. And not just, I don't know if it was because I liked stealing or just because, some shithead left their stuff behind. Too bad for them.
So you're a kleptomaniac.
I guess in a little way.
I have to start watching my shit when you're here.
I think part of the reason is because back then, when I was in school, it was really cool to have I think it was Beaver Canoe was the brand.
Sweatshirts.
Nope. The pencil cases.
Oh, okay.
That were like canvas.
Okay, I remember.
Right.
I remember canvas. I mean, I remember Beaver Canoe stuff like sweatshirts and T-shirts.
Yeah.
And I remember canvas pencil cases and stuff.
Because they were cool because you could get the magic marker,
draw
on them, and then outline that shit in liquid paper to make it stand out, and fun stuff like that. So I'd found a couple of those over the years. But anyway, there was this book in there. It was called The Sword of Shannara, and there's there's been tons of those from that series, but the first 3 were The Sword, The Elfstones, and The Wish Song. And that kind of started me off on my fantasy tangent back in the day. Dragonlance, Forgotten Realms, all that bullshit. I'm like, wow, these are cool, and I'm an ultra nerd, so I'm going to read them all.
I never got into those fantasy novels. I remember my brother and Fredericks and Young and all.
Oh, your brother? Well, I mean, they're still retarded for those books. Some of them. Like, I mean, your brother. That Wheel of Time.
That's the one. That's,
series.
yeah.
I mean, that thing's been going on for like 10 or 15 years, and I don't even think it's done yet. And the guy who started it is dead. So I never got into that. That's just one story taking more, like taking 10 books and it's not done yet. That's too much.
Like The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Should have been done in one movie.
Yeah, well,
And
maybe
apparently-
2. I could see them stretching it to 2, but when I read they were stretching it to 3rd, I got, okay, now that's a tax grab. That's all. Like, that's a government tax grab. But so those first 3 books were really, really good. I've read them 1,000 times each, and so there you go. Read them. Don't read them. I don't care.
We're not here to tell you what to do.
No.
We're just here to tell you what we like.
Now, this one I'll try and be a little quicker on. I had another list that I thought of, and I came up with TV that people should watch or should have watched.
So this is going to be stuff that was canceled.
Not all of it.
That everyone loves now, but didn't love enough to watch at the time.
Or even still, some people that loved it still really love it
Yeah.
and tell their friends about it, and their friends are like, I don't care. And some are still active. A couple of them, actually, I guess only one of them is really dead. I think one of them might be done. I'm not sure. But I wrote it in a 5 series, but I'm just going to jump around the list. I'm going to put Community on there.
That's going to be done after this year,
Probably,
unfortunately.
yeah. Now, I was a late bloomer to that show. You were watching it long before I was.
Oh, my God, was I.
I didn't start until probably 2nd season. It's brilliant.
Mark and Adam in the morning.
Exactly. It's just brilliant. And so I caught up. I watched the first season because it was on Netflix up here in Canuckland, and then I found advanced copies of season 2.
I like that you say up here in Canada,
Yeah.
like most of our listeners don't live within a
I know.
5-kilometer range of us.
No, that's not true because a couple of the people on my Xbox list are from the States.
And they listen for a minute.
That's all right.
At least it's a listen.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, so if you're not watching it, and we've told other friends many times to watch it, and a couple of them are finally listening.
Jeff, for one.
Yeah, and the Wyatts.
The Wyatts.
Oh wait, the Jollymores. What do we want?
The Jollymore Wyatt clan?
The Jolly. Yeah.
The Jolly Wyatts?
Yeah, that'll work.
The Jolliots?
There it is.
The Jolliots.
Yeah,
Totally.
I was trying to combine something. I couldn't do it. Yeah, so great show. Next. Now, everybody that has access to FX Canada, I know, is drooling over this show.
Oh, you're going to say Sons of Anarchy.
I'm not going to say that. That's not the show I'm going to say. Because the big debate is everybody watches... There's so many people watching Sons of Anarchy, whether they're downloading it or they're lucky enough to have FX Canada on their cable subscription. Bell doesn't have it yet. But I don't care. I've watched all of them anyway. You have
ExpressView still. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, FiberOp has it.
Yeah,
Bell
so
TV.
so that's fine. And it's a good show, don't get me wrong.
I've never seen a single episode.
I've watched 4 seasons, and it is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. The Human Chin, Ron Perlman.
See, and that's why I don't
is
know why I haven't watched it.
fantastic
Because I
in it.
love Ron Perlman in everything.
Yeah, and he's amazing in it. And what's her face? Katie Seagal
Her husband is the creator
might be.
or director. He's the creator or director.
Yeah, I think
I remember
so.
something from the Roseanne roast about that.
Yeah, and
Or
she's
the writer, I don't know.
she's brilliant in it too. Like you totally don't expect it because I mean, what do you know Katie Seagal from?
Just Married with Children and
Futurama.
well, Futurama. That's just a voice, but I was going to say the show that killed Jack Tripper. What was that?
Was she on that? That
Yeah,
was
she
the
was
8 whatevers for dating my daughter.
Yeah,
8 Simple Rules.
Yeah, John Ritter.
I thought that's what you said.
No, I said Jack Tripper.
Oh, you did.
I couldn't remember his name at first.
Nice.
That ties
Those
back
of us,
into the
those of us that are 30 or older will know who you meant.
Come and knock on my door.
Yeah, no.
I've
do
been waiting for you.
that.
Trying to add more singing
So-
into this show.
Sons of Anarchy is brilliant. I love it. Everybody talks about it. But I think the other show from the States that you can't get up here in Canada, that is on Netflix and available in advanced copy form, is Breaking Bad.
Oh, I love Breaking Bad.
Because if you haven't watched that, you need to. Number one, if you've ever watched Malcolm in the Middle, you'll be amazed by... What the shit? I want to
Bryan
call it...
Cranston.
Yeah, that's right. I wanted to call him Hal Johnson.
Yeah, I can't remember. I couldn't remember John Ritter's name, but Bryan Cranston jumps to mind
Exactly.
right away. What the fuck is happening to me?
It actually took me, I would say, 2 to 3 episodes to even realize it was Hal from Malcolm in the Middle.
Really?
Yep. I'm like, he looked that different because, he had, granted in the first few episodes he had hair, but it was different and he's a lot thinner.
Yeah.
But
That was
when
a
you,
totally inaudible yes, but
yeah, but when you realize it's him, you're like, wow, he's not just some doofus comedy actor. He's really, really, really decent. And it's a great show.
plays a senator or a congressman in Rock of Ages.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
That
I
cheats,
could see
that
him.
cheats on his wife, and his wife is Catherine Zeta-Jones. That doesn't make any sense.
That's
to me.
interesting.
But she's all churchy, but then she becomes a whore.
That explains it.
But she used to be a whore. Not a real whore, but like a groupie whore.
Ah, nice.
Like, not the professional whore.
That's the musical, right? It's a musical. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
You won't enjoy it.
Yeah. So Bryan Cranston is great in it, and it's a fantastic show. For those who don't know, it's about meth, really,
Ice.
and meth dealers, and the fact that, and it won't spoil too much to say this, but he is a chemistry teacher at a high school who discovers that he has cancer, hides it from his family, eventually runs into an old student, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, he develops like the perfect meth formula. It's like 99% pure. People go apeshit for it. And it kind of goes from there.
It's just basically he wants to...
He wants to make a shitload of money and provide for his family when he
Right.
dies, was his plan. So
The hooker with the heart of gold.
exactly. In this case, he was the meth cooker with the heart of gold. So, as much as people say, I love Sons of Anarchy, and I keep saying, you got to watch Breaking Bad too. And they're like, yeah, whatever. So,
Our friends don't listen to us enough.
they don't.
We watch enough TV
To know.
that we know what's good and what's bad.
Mm-hmm.
We should be critics,
We should.
like John Lovitz.
Yeah. Speaking of him, I watched the Charlie Sheen roast the other day again. That was a great one.
How much coke does Charlie Sheen do? Enough to kill 2.5 men.
Yeah, exactly. Next is a Fox sitcom that I didn't think was going to be funny, and I was kind of right for the first few episodes.
Oh! I'm gonna guess though.
Go ahead.
Raising Hope.
Absolutely.
Ha!
It was one of those shows that they started off with a plan. It's kind of like The Simpsons. For the first few years, they thought, okay, everybody's going to fucking love Bart. Let's do nothing but Bart, Bart, Bart.
He was the Bartman.
And then they realized...
See, adding more singing. We're going to turn this podcast into a musical.
Excellent. Then they realized, wait a minute, Homer's way funnier than Bart. There's way more potential
Oh yeah.
in Homer, and they kind of retooled the show slightly and didn't necessarily focus on Bart every fucking second of the show. And Raising Hope kind of did the same thing. The show starts off, it's a doofus kid who gets some chick pregnant. Turns out she's a serial killer.
Is that the premise?
Yeah. And so and that's Hope. Hope is the kid, Raising Hope, hence the name. And
Ironic.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
He lives with his parents, who were like him. They had him when they were like 17, 18. So they're still quite young. And for those of you who are Goonies fans...
See, I was going to say, I watched that show for the first time just because of Martha Plimpton.
Exactly. And now the other guy, the guy that plays the father, Garrett Dillahunt or something like that. It's close to that. I've seen him in a couple of shows, and I was really surprised to see him in this because he was the in the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
You been drinking?
No. Say that 3 times fast.
Sarah Connor Chronicles?
Yeah.
See how you fucked up the first time?
Exactly.
I'll shut up now. I'm sick though, so.
He was the Terminator sent back to try and kill Sarah Connor. So you're like, okay, that's a serious role. The next time I saw him, it was a bit part. He was in an episode of Lie to Me, that Tim Roth show. And then all of a sudden he's on a sitcom. I'm like, and what I think they realized a few episodes in is that there's a lot of potential with the parents, because not only did they have them, or Jimmy, who's the main character, when they were young, they're stupid. The whole family is retarded. And Cloris Leachman is in it.
I love Cloris Leachman
as the grandmother.
She does.
She's the mother or the grandmother of Martha Plimpton, and she's in and out of senility, on different episodes, and she's priceless. So me and Rachel have been watching it ever since, just because, and it was created by the guy who did My Name Is Earl. So in fact, their town is in the next county from where Earl lived. They even mention his county and
Camden County.
Camden County, that's exactly it. They mention Camden County multiple times throughout the show. And people that were in My Name Is Earl show up.
Like Patty the Daytime Hooker?
Patty the Daytime Hooker was actually in Raising Hope as Patty the Daytime Hooker, which I thought was pretty fucking cool. Other characters like the gay guy, Kenny, in Earl, he's in Raising Hope, but he's not Kenny.
He's like the boss at the supermarket,
grocery store, yeah. So things like that. It's a great show. It's fun.
I wonder why I said supermarket.
I don't know. Because you're
80?
You're not that old.
That seems odd that I went with supermarket.
It does. Here's really the only show on the list that is completely dead. It's not completely dead because it's being resurrected, sort of. Arrested Development. One of the best sitcoms, I think, ever to hit TV, period.
It is. It's brilliant. Have you noticed on Netflix?
Yes.
All the every movie or
all
TV
previews,
show,
yeah, like girl fights and boy fights, and
but when you select it, it jumps you to the episode right where it's at. That's brilliant marketing on Netflix's part.
Exactly.
What
was the other one? Girls with Low Self-Esteem. Yeah. So but everybody on that show was, I think, perfect in their role. Like there was nobody that you'd say, if they replaced them, I wouldn't care.
It's true.
Like, I don't like David Cross. I fucking
you
hate David Cross, and even him I like in that show.
Because I was preaching him to you for years before that show came out.
Yeah.
And you hated everything I tried to make you like to enjoy him.
Yep. But it didn't happen. But it's just so funny. I mean, Winkler, the Fonz as the lawyer.
But the most brilliant part about Winkler as the lawyer is having him replaced by Scott Baio as their new lawyer.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Like,
too. Yeah, it was.
Just the things in that show like that were the brilliant things.
Yeah, and getting it was Charlize Theron, wasn't it, that played the girl,
the British girl, yep,
the love interest for a while, who actually turned out to be mentally delayed and was actually more like she was 10. Yeah.
Yes.
Even that was just a brilliant casting, because you're like, what? Charlize Theron, really? So yeah, if you've never watched that, it's definitely on Canadian Netflix, and you definitely should, because there's always money in the banana stand.
Always.
Yeah.
Big yellow joint. Big yellow joint. I'll meet you down at the big yellow joint. See, I'm going to turn this into a musical, whether you fucking like it or not.
And I mean, even David Cross's bit about the never naked, like
never nude
with the jean shorts. Like,
there are 2 members of German Parliament who suffer from it.
The other show, the last show on the list, it's on in Canada, on like Slice or what's that? TV Tropolis.
TV Tropolis.
Or like one of those channels,
As soon as you say it, I'll tell you what channel it's on.
But it's on like at 1 or 2 or 3 in the morning.
Ooh, I may not be able to tell you then.
I only found it by accident once. I think it was because I was up working and I was floating through the guide and oh Jesus, I didn't know that was on TV in Canada. Because I've downloaded it, and cheated and watched it through American Netflix.
Okay.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
No, it's on. It was on Byte, which I had.
I don't have Byte. I
had a free preview of it.
Right.
I don't even know what Byte was.
Yeah.
But I saw it on that.
I'll try to be quick. It is hilarious. Danny DeVito is in it. He's the one really recognizable star. And he doesn't show up. He's not in the he takes a couple episodes for him to show up, but spoiler alert, we're going back to Seinfeld for a second. If anybody hasn't seen the last episode of Seinfeld,
we're going to spoiler alert Seinfeld.
Exactly. Get out from your cave and watch comedy sometime.
Well, I mean, if you haven't seen Seinfeld,
you're either too young,
or you're probably not listening to us.
Yeah, that's
true. Or
too.
Enjoying us whatsoever.
But as everybody knows,
it is a podcast about nothing.
That has seen it. They, of course, all go to trial in the final episode, and everybody parades through the courtroom to tell what jerks they are. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia has taken that premise of, yeah, there were jerks. But, I mean, that wasn't the whole point of the show. Nobody ever saw that coming, like them going to jail at the end of the seasons. But Sunny is them in jerk format for the 2000s. Like, they are complete assholes. They're not, like, they do nothing helpful for anybody. They're always, every episode is a scam of some kind. And it's just...
So it's us, minus the scams.
It's hilarious. And, of course, the channel it's on is liberal language. So you get swearing, and, they can be free with the topics they want. Like, and it's just... You got to watch it. If you know how to log into American Netflix, do it. All 7 seasons are there.
Hotspot Shield.
Exactly. For those who don't know, just Google free VPN. No, free proxy. Sorry.
That's a VPN. Same thing.
Anyway, so Google that, install it, and then go log into Netflix, and you'll be like, "Whoa, this doesn't look like my Netflix." So watch it. It's probably my favorite show on that list, with the exception of Arrested Development, of course. But so
yeah, it's hard to top Arrested Development. Can't wait for the new episodes.
I know, and that's why I said it's not entirely dead, because it is being resurrected by Netflix, which is amazing. And
they're going to show it on. There was questions on whether they're going to show it on Canadian Netflix or not.
Yeah, I was actually surprised there was even those questions, because that original series they did, Lillehammer, was on Canadian right away with what's his face, Van Zandt.
So who knew? But it's good that we are. Whole cast is back.
Yep. So, all of them.
Yep.
Which is
be interesting with them older.
And I want to say Stanley Tucci. Am I right?
No. It's Jeffrey Tambor.
Right. So Stanley Tucci is the one in the Hunger Games. Or is he not?
Who's Stanley Tucci's the one? He was the announcer in the Hunger Games.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because I was looking at him while I was watching the Hunger Games the other day. I'm like, that's who I think is Stanley Tucci, but it's not. So it's obviously Jeffrey Tambor he's one of my favorites in the entire show, especially the stoned twin brother that he plays.
Oh, we can mention Hunger Games because we both watched that this week.
Yeah.
Because you watched it on my recommendation.
I did. I watched it last night.
Because I was worried, because I was continuing on my streak of good movies over Christmas.
Yep.
Which we haven't... Well, we did mention last podcast, because I talked about Expendables and all that stuff, watching those.
Yeah, and I brought up Buried.
Yeah. So my streak continued, and I watched a few more, all still new movies, all good. And it ended with, I was worried that when I hit Hunger Games, it's like I could be risking...
Hit or miss.
I could be risking the streak, because I've seen good things, and I've heard bad things. So it was a real crapshoot, and it came up fucking sevens.
I was just gonna say 3.5 out of 5.
Yep.
For a normal critic, for me anyway, I thought it was good.
Yeah, definitely worth a watch.
I mean, I'm not sad I didn't see it in theater.
Oh no, I mean,
but yeah, it was good.
It's not a damn. I wish I'd been there opening night for this.
Oh Jesus, no.
But
And I won't be for the second one either.
No, but I'm going to watch the second one.
Yep.
I won't be waiting.
The debate now is will either of us read the books?
No,
Yeah.
because I've enjoyed the movie now. And I don't
that's
want to
probably
fuck
true.
it up. Maybe once they're done all the movies, I'll go back and read the books.
Yeah, fair enough.
Or if I get sick of waiting for movies, I'll start reading the books.
List.
My list. Mine's not really a list per se, as we discussed before we hit the record button.
It's kind of a list, but it's
It
not like
is.
a top list.
No, it's just a list of complaints. We're recording early, so it's actually the 3rd. So it's Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a few days before anyone's going to hear this, but it's Tolkien's birthday,
Happy birthday, sir.
if you were still alive.
Do you know what JRR stands for?
No.
Me neither. Cool. Just checking.
I should, but I don't care. You're going to Google it and probably make some weird noises with your phone again and fuck things up.
I won't. I turn the volume down.
But since it is his birthday, and I absolutely love Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Absolutely love them.
We're talking the books or the
We're
movies?
talking the books
Okay,
that I
yeah.
absolutely love. So I've got a list of things that piss me off when I watch the movies. Not The Hobbit, because I haven't watched The Hobbit yet, because I have not heard a single good thing about The Hobbit. Except for that since the technology has come along, that was it Andy Serkis?
Yes.
Serkis?
Circus.
Serkis.
Serkis.
So however you pronounce that his performance as Gollum is even better because you can get all the facial recognition and stuff like that from it. So it makes the Gollum performance even better.
John Ronald Rule Tolkien.
There you go.
Anyway. The worst thing I've heard about The Hobbit is the 48 frames per second thing.
I've heard that's horrendous.
I heard that a lot of people just can't wrap their eyeballs around it. So, anyway, again, we can't complain about it because we haven't seen it. So let's go back to
Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. Now, I mean, again, I'm gonna say I love the book. I'm gonna call it the book because here's your trivia fact for the day. You know, it's only one novel, right?
I do.
And do you know why they split it up into 3?
So they could make more money?
No, because this was before they cared about money. Well, kind of.
Because it was too thick?
No, it was just after World War I that he wrote the book,
Uh-huh.
and paper was in a short supply. So it made it easier to publish it
In parts?
in parts.
That's going to be on there.
Yeah. You're always making obnoxious noises.
I am.
We need some better soundproofing.
We do. You should put me in you should, like, handcuff me to the fucking chair when we're talking.
We're going to put you in your own little room like Howard Stern does to Robin.
Nice. And the early days of Red versus Blue recording, I listened to commentary once. Every time they were recording, they all went into the closet to give the effect that it sounded like they were in helmets.
Oh, really? I figured that was just a digital thing.
Yeah, nope.
Let's just add a slight echo.
Mm-hmm.
But, so, where was I?
You were going to call it The Book.
The book, just because it's supposed to be one book. But now we're going to list the things I don't like about Peter Jackson's version.
Now, tell the kiddies, overall, do you like the movies?
Yes.
Okay.
I like
So
them.
let's just get that clear.
Let's get it clear that I like them as movies.
Yep.
I don't like them as Lord of the Rings movies. Just like my same opinion with Sherlock Holmes. I like those movies, but I don't like them as Sherlock Holmes movies.
That's easier to digest. I can see your point for Lord of the Rings, but Sherlock Holmes is definitely easier to understand. But anyway, continue.
But does that make sense, though?
Yeah.
Makes sense to us. Will it make sense to everyone else?
You'd have to have read it and seen them to know what you're going to talk about.
And you have to really enjoy the books
Yeah.
to understand my nitpicking.
And some
things.
people have tried and can't because
We've argued this many times with
it's
everyone.
so wordy. But again, because I was such a huge fantasy fan, I didn't give a shit. So I like the books, I like the movies. But anyway.
No, I love the books, and I like the movie.
Ha! I gotcha. You didn't say the book.
Ah, fuck you. Suck it. All right. First thing, the character changes.
Right, okay.
Like, Gimli in the book is like the noble representative of the dwarves.
Yes, he is.
In the movie, He's the equivalent of Snarf.
He's not that bad.
He is. He's there for comic fucking relief.
Not always, though.
He's like their
I
pet.
agree. I agree. But that's the thing. Modern movies, there always has to be some form. I don't care. Like any movie like that that's not realistic, they always have to put some form of comic relief. Like those two jive talking idiot Transformers.
But you've already added comedy in with Merry and Pippin, who are the comedy already.
But they're not in it as much.
Again, that's not...
Anyway, but I can see your point. I wouldn't call him as bad as Snarf. But...
And if you don't know who Snarf is, he was basically the talking pet of the Thundercats.
Snarf. Yeah, anyway.
And that brings me right to Merry and Pippin.
Yep.
Who are the comedy relief.
Yes, they are.
But
Better comedy relief.
But don't get the redemption they're supposed to get. Because the entire chapter of Scouring the Shire, or The Scouring the Shire, or something.
Whatever.
I'm close.
Yeah.
Is left out of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important chapter of the book. It's the ending of the book. And it got left the fuck out.
Yeah.
Now, almost every problem I have revolves around that chapter being left out.
Well, yeah, because the ending of the the Return of the King is definitely too much of a change.
Well, the whole movie,
It just goes on too much.
the whole movie is sullied without that chapter. I mean, when did they kill Saruman? In the beginning of Return of the King or the end of the Two Towers? End of the Two Towers, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. He doesn't die in the fucking book.
Yeah.
Because he's in the last fucking chapter. Like, it just drives me crazy. Like, Peter Jackson has made an action-adventure, sword and sorcery epic movie.
Mm-hmm.
If you've read the book...
With honorable mentions to Lord of the Rings.
Right. Because if you've ever read the books... I'm going to call them the books now because there's 3 of them.
Yeah, there is.
They're not an action-adventure book. They're not a sword and sorcery epic.
They're a walking book.
They are a walking book. But it's more than that. It's the tale of little people doing big things they find inside themselves. And not just little because they're hobbits.
I thought we were talking about Lord of the Rings.
We are.
You just described Willow.
Same fucking movie. but from...
Baby instead of a ring.
But from humans... Just regular humans standing up, hobbits standing up.
Yeah.
It's a book of little people doing big things.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote it based on his experiences in World War I, seeing soldiers doing extraordinary things.
Mm-hmm.
But then when they got back to Britain, not doing that shit.
Yeah.
Whereas in the final chapter of the book, the little people who come home, they fucking do it. They take what they've learned and they rise above themselves. That's missing from those movies.
Yes, it is.
Another thing that pisses me off, Frodo's not the main fucking character in the book. He's top billed,
Yep.
but he's not the main fucking character. Sam is. It's Sam's story.
It is, yeah.
Because in the last chapter, that's been left out of the movies.
Well, no, that's not true. The end of the movie has a part of the end of the movie before it drags on and they start showing them going away on some boat.
That's in the books.
They show him.
They show him get married.
They show him writing some of the book.
They do. They start to, but they show him get married. But they don't show that he becomes basically the leader of the Shire.
No, they don't. But
Which is the whole point. Sam's gone from the gardener help to becoming a leader.
yes,
He's the main character. He's the one that's grown the most.
true.
Frodo's just an errand boy.
He is.
He's just top billed.
Yep.
That doesn't mean shit.
No.
Like, I mean, even though Frodo's not the main character, in the books he's a lot more noble. I guess I keep using the word noble.
Not such a pussy. Because
Because
all he is in the movie is a pussy,
It's not that he's a pussy. They make him the victim.
a whiny bitch.
Yeah, well, all right, we'll go there. He's a whiny bitch in the movie. Like he never has He has no redeeming qualities in that movie because without everybody else, he couldn't have done shit.
No.
And like without Sam dragging him along, he would have never made it.
No.
And I think they try to make it look like they're just helping each other. It's like, no, they're not helping each other because Frodo's not helping anybody.
No, he's just a package that can walk.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
He's like the crust of pizza. He's just the delivery device.
Yeah,
it's
true.
the toppings you really want.
The sauce and the cheese and whatever else you slap on there.
But that, I mean, why would you turn... I mean, they're turning strong characters into weak characters, and that's what they did. Even with Merry and Pippin, because they're instrumental in taking the Shire back from Saruman and Wormtail.
Yep.
Like, that's the whole point. Here are the three bit-like characters, the weakest, standing up at the end. And that is totally lost in those movies. 100% lost.
Yeah.
Because besides you see Sam starting to write the book, the last thing you really see Sam do is look at Frodo like he's going to fuck him.
Well, he looked at Frodo all through the movie like he was going to fuck him.
So...
And Frodo looked at him like he's like, you know, if you want to, go for it.
It's like, don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows what they got up to when they cut back to Viggo Mortensen.
What else? So much just comes back to the last chapter.
Yeah.
Being taken out. It destroys the whole purpose of the book.
Mm-hmm.
The movies were just so action-adventure-like. I don't know. I didn't like how much Gandalf changed before and after from grey to white. Like, because that's not how he is in the book. It's more of a gradual change.
Yeah.
Like it's almost two different characters in the book,
Again,
or two different characters in the movie.
Now, some of these things they are glaring omissions. Don't get me wrong. But did you really want to sit through 6 movies?
No.
And I think to get some of that, you would have had to.
Maybe why couldn't we just accept the fact that they weren't meant to be movies? They were better as
I
a
can't
book.
agree with that because I love them.
It's true. You do. And I only like them.
Yep.
I didn't like the emphasis. Well, I mean, again, it goes back to the whole action-adventure thing. The emphasis on some of the battles took away from other things.
They did, but I mean, that's what sells movies.
I know it does, and that's the problem, is you're changing stuff to sell a movie on a book that doesn't need that to sell.
But I think...
Like, think of...
Lord of the Rings was made for people that haven't read them.
It's true. And that's how you have to make a movie. You can't make the movie for the person that's read the book like me.
Yep.
But you've read the book, too.
Oh, absolutely. I still have some of the 3 of them kicking around somewhere.
Just like in the chamber room, that huge battle with the orcs and the troll and stuff, right before the fight with Balrog.
Oh, so underground, yeah.
Yeah. That chamber fight was just so long that when they got to Balrog, it's like, meh, it's over.
Yeah.
Like, the climax of that is supposed to be Balrog. But that just seems like, all right, well, this isn't the book, so we're going to have to do it and end the movie here.
Mm.
But, I mean, the climax of that scene in the movie ended up being thinking Frodo was dead under the troll.
Yeah.
So you've totally moved the climactic part of that, of Gandalf sacrificing himself so they can move on. Then falling through the world all the way through to the top of the other world.
Yes.
And then being saved by big fucking eagles or butterflies or something. I don't remember.
Griffins, I believe.
Who should have just flown them to Mount Doom anyways.
Yeah, well, I mean...
There's a lot of flying in that movie that happens when they don't need it to happen.
Yeah, you could have saved a lot of time.
We could have saved a lot of fucking walking.
Yeah.
I'm just really going to end my bitching there.
Yeah?
Because it really...
Nothing about Arwen?
I know in the book he marries her, but she's definitely not prominent in the books.
No, not like she's in the movie. They just wanted to slap Liv Tyler in there.
It's true. They wanted a love interest. And I had a big problem with Aragorn getting his sword in the 3rd movie instead of getting it right at the fucking beginning. Because there's a
Was it
really...
the 3rd, or did you get it in the 2nd?
He didn't get it till Return of the King.
You sure?
Just before he goes... Just before they march.
I suppose for the final fight.
Because he
Give
takes
Frodo that last bit of time.
He takes it with him to go to the Ghost King.
Right.
Because that kills a really good line in the book when they go to see the possessed king. I should have written more notes.
From Rohan,
Yeah.
the Rohan king.
Yeah, about not leaving his sword behind. Like in the movie, they all leave their weapons behind, except for Gandalf gets to sneak in his staff.
Yep.
In the book, they just all carry their fucking weapons in because they were told to leave them, and Aragorn refused and had a big line and speech about his sword never leaving his side.
Yep.
In the movie, I'll give it up because I'm a punk ass bitch.
Yeah. He was a little whiny as Aragorn, but still probably one of the better castings in the movie, besides Gandalf.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong, Ian McKellen's awesome in that.
And Sean Bean actually was pretty good as Boromir.
Oh, I mean, there's more good than bad. It just changes its. Again, like I said, I like the movie. I just don't like it as Lord of the Rings.
I would like to say this. I would like the animated one from, the 70s?
It is a big pile of shit.
No, I like the first one. What I didn't like was the fact that he never did more. Because there is actually a sequel to that cartoon movie.
Is there?
Yeah, but it looks like the fucking Smurfs.
Ugh.
Like, that's what the Hobbits look like. They look like white Smurfs. And it's terrible. Like, his art style of certain scenes drawing over people.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Right?
Yeah,
like the orcs and stuff were all, they look like real people with just, they drew over the film cells. But, the sequel.
Should have taken more cold medicine. My brain is just fucking fried tonight. I'm more useless than usual.
So you're going to end your bitching there.
I am going to end my bitching there.
I would like to dive to one thing. We probably could have spent more time on it.
Oh, we could have spent a full show on this.
No, I don't mean that. I don't mean your topic or my topic. I meant what I'm about to bring up.
Okay.
And it's the bitch performance that Canada put in today at the World Juniors.
Ugh.
And you know what? I was gonna, on Facebook or Twitter, post that they were going to lose that game when it was found out they were going to have to play the States. Because of the first time they played them. I knew it was going to happen. Plain and simple.
Well, what I have to say about that game is, it fucking sucks we lost, and it sucks we played that bad. Dear all people on Facebook and Twitter that it ruins your day.
I know.
Go fuck yourselves.
Yeah.
Your day was decided by how kids, you guys are all under 18.
Mm-mm.
Oh, no, all under 20.
All under 20.
Still kids.
There's only 2 guys on the team that are 17.
All right, still kids.
Yeah.
Basically. You guys put too much fucking pressure on them. There's too much pressure on those guys to perform.
Absolutely.
They're still playing for a medal.
Mm-hmm.
They've only lost one fucking game. Chill the fuck out.
Yeah, but you know what? I bet you if they play the Russians
They are playing the Russians.
in the bronze. I thought. No, wait. Didn't Russia move on to the gold by beating?
No.
Or have they even played Sweden yet?
Yeah, they played them today.
Oh, did they?
Lost.
No. Then we're gonna. I don't think we're gonna win the bronze.
It's a possibility.
Canada. Canada does that. They beat the good teams in the round robin, and it doesn't happen all the time. But there are times that you can tell that they may not have. They shouldn't have won the game as well as they did, or they pulled through a squeaker like against the States.
Yeah. I mean, there's too much pressure, especially this year with the lockout and having Hopkins there, or Nugent Hopkins.
Yeah, whatever.
Jesus. Having him there and all the other guys, just nobody can be happy with third. Everyone it's gold or nothing. Every tournament Canada's in. We won the Spengler Cup.
We
Yay
did.
for us against the team we lost to last year,
Which was like our 12th or 13th
Yeah.
Spengler Cup.
the only team we're behind for Spengler Cups is the team we beat, HC Davos.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a team that plays together all year long.
Exactly. I mean, we just slapped together. And again, we probably benefited from the lockout in the Spengler Cup a little bit too. I know. I know we didn't get a lot, but we did get some NHL guys.
We got Spezza was there.
Yep.
And somebody else. right on the front line.
I wonder why Crosby didn't go to that.
Because he's a dick.
Yeah, well, there's that.
Because he doesn't do anything extra unless it's the Olympics.
So yeah, I'd like to. I was sad. I couldn't watch the game. I was at work, so I had to watch. And we have a lot of restrictions on our computers, of course. So I basically got on TSN to a live chat where there was a bunch of us idiot fans who couldn't watch the game, but a TSN moderator constantly updating the play. So there you go. Sad.
Lockout's still going on.
It is.
Hopefully
but
by Monday it's
it
done.
really sounds like it's getting close this time.
No, they're off. They're way off on pensions still.
So I don't know. We've got until the 11th. They say.
Fuck you, players. Fuck you.
Unless I don't think I'm going to watch the 48 games they play.
Yes, you will.
No, I'll watch the highlights on TSN.
You might as well, because us watching doesn't change anything.
It'll hurt their ad revenue.
No, it won't. It's the going to the games that matter. Oh no, it's not.
It's the TV money, dummy.
The American TV money. It's not the Canadian.
Well,
TV.
there's that too. Yeah,
We're gonna be just watching it on TSN and CBC, so it doesn't matter.
it's true.
Us not watching won't do anything.
Yeah, but it might make me feel better just to be spiteful.
No, you'll want to watch.
Yeah, well.
Fuck, we're running along.
Yeah.
It means I don't get to talk about dickhead who wants me to buy $1,500 chairs.
No, and I was actually, we should say that for next episode, because I was also going to bring up, and it'll be late, really late this time, but in honor of New Year's a couple of days ago, I was going to tell some brief snippets from the mega New Year's party that we videotaped.
What? Oh!
As like kind of like a tribute to New Year's Eve, I was going to go back in time and bring up some stories from the epic New Year's party that happened over 3 or 4 apartments.
Maybe we should do that. Like, we should save that
Possibly.
for this New Year's.
That's a long time to remember to do that, though.
I've
I've obviously forgotten once.
I don't remember what we talked about at all last week.
Yeah.
I need somebody else to go through the episodes and write down all the shit we talk about so we don't talk about it again.
Yeah, fair enough.
Ronnie should do that. She listens.
Yep, good girl, Ronnie. We'll not pay you to do it.
But you can be the guest on the next Batman episode.
There you go.
She'll love that.
Big Batman fan?
She's a huge Batman fan.
Fantastic.
She's like the perfect nerd chick.
Oh, so we could do... you mean on the special Batman episode?
Yes.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
That'd be all right.
That we promised for Christmas.
Yeah.
And didn't deliver.
Yeah, we promised a lot of things.
Weird.
We promised Moncton. Oh, by the way, we were going to tell you Moncton again tonight, but...
We didn't.
We didn't.
I find our promises are kind of like the sexual satisfaction I give women.
They're like the white lies of promises.
No, it's the sexual satisfaction I give women.
You mean none?
I notice the bored look in their eyes, but I don't even care.
You finish anyway.
Hey, they usually finish first,
Yeah.
but they're still bored.
Yep.
They only finish first so they can have it the fuck over with.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that's it for this week. You can follow us on Twitter at FairlyOddCast.
And on Facebook at facebook.com/FairlyOddCast.
If you've been drinking, please don't drive.
Stay in school.
Don't use drugs.
And
So long, and thanks for all the fish.
we'll see you later.